I literally cried and overcharged a customer about 3 times, okay? My first time working in retail was not good. I was 14 or 15 when I got my first ever job at TK Maxx, so it's a retail store, right? And I had been getting trained to just like restock and tidy up shelves, you know, very simple, easy things. I did that for a bunch of shifts because it's good when you first, you know, you get your first ever job, you need to learn how to actually work and how the store operates and how barcodes work in each category of each department, and that is a good thing, right? But after a couple of shifts, there was this one particular shift where it was really busy up at the registers, and I had like a little earpiece where you can like hear people and like talk to other co-workers, and they kept saying on the earpiece, we need someone to go on the register. So they were obviously really short-staffed and they needed more operators to check out customers, to pay for things, and to leave the store basically. So I'm working in the fitting room because that's all I've been trained pretty much to do, besides, you know, cleaning shelves on the floor. And this one girl who had been working there pretty much her whole entire life comes up to me like aggressively, and she's like, you need to go up to the register, they're calling for more people. And I'm like, I was crapping myself, by the way. I was like, I haven't been trained on registers. Like, I can go up there if you want me to, but I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't even have like a login code, right? Also, this girl was so rude to me for years. So if you see this, hi, I hope you're well, I hope you're okay, and I'm sending you so much love because you really need it. But this girl had been probably working there her whole entire life, so she was so aggressive, and she just thought that it was okay to speak to me like that. Mind you, I was 14, so at the time I'm very quiet, I'm very scared, I cry very easily because, you know, it's my first job. I'm like, oh my god, like, it's scary. Anyway, so I went and told the manager because I was pretty upset. I was like, look, like, I don't know how to go on the registers, can you train me, because like people are getting angry at me? And he was like, that's not okay, like, no, you're fine. But I was just like, I need to be trained because clearly you guys need more people on the registers and you've hired me, so train me. But obviously they want to ease you into it, there's like a whole process to it. But I was like, no, like, obviously people are not happy because I haven't been trained, so I don't want that to happen again, because I basically just got yelled at by this other co-worker who's a casual, by the way. Like, what? Fast forwarding again, right? So a couple shifts later I get trained, finally, yay, like little me's being proactive. I got trained. I actually got trained for like maybe a couple hours with this really lovely girl, and it was really good, but mostly all the transactions were cash. So I was working a lot with cash, and it was different to like an FPOS payment, so I hadn't really experienced that, but I kind of knew the basics. I knew to scan the items, I knew how to count how many there were, total, bit of math. It was okay. Well, the next day I get put on the registers with a random worker who I don't really know, they don't really know me, and it was scary, okay? Like, let me tell you, if you've worked in retail, the first time you have to work on the register, like serving customers, and like when you're 14 and like you don't really have people skills and you're not, you know the vibes, it is very scary. I have one of my first proper customers, and it's a man who comes up with a fry pan and a t-shirt, and guys, I will never forget this. I remember it so clearly, so I know exactly what he wanted to buy because this story will stick with me forever. I'm making great conversation with this guy. I scan his items, he goes to pay, and I'm like, okay. And then the receipt doesn't print through after he's paid for it, but I didn't understand that the payment had actually gone through. Okay, stay with me. But I thought, weird. Okay, well, the payment hasn't gone through. Wrong. But I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to put that through for you again. So I have to rescan his items again, make him pay again, right? Receipt doesn't print out on the machine, does it? Right? Okay. So I did it to this man again. I went, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to put it through for you again. Rescan the items, make him pay again. Guys, I can't believe I did this. Like, I feel so guilty. This poor man just wants his damn fry pan and t-shirt, and this girl is charging him like 3 times. So yes, the payments all did work. It was just the paper receipt roll needed to be changed because it was empty. It's kind of like a printer when it runs out of paper. You got to like change the receipt roll. I didn't know that. I never got told that. So those 3 payments all worked, and this came to like about $70. Imagine if this happened with a customer with a bigger transaction, like way more items. Oh, now looking back, I'm like, come on, Island, how did you not realize? But I was 14 at the time. This was my first ever job. I had never worked a job in my life. I didn't know this is how things operated, okay? Like, I'm just a girl. Okay, so this man leaves the store, and I see him walk in again, and I'm like, oh, he's got the items, he's got like all these like things, like what's he doing? I see him in the queue line, and when I go to call, I've just served this customer, he's next in line. So I'm like, okay, next, thank you. I see him, and he looks at me and he's like, no, I don't want to see you, I need to talk to someone else. And I was like, oh no, like that's the man that I served earlier. Like, what's he doing back here? So after I see this guy approaching the register, I'm like, okay, I need to get out of here. I go to the toilet. I'm like, oh my god, I need to hide. Like, I don't want anyone to know this is me. Anyways, I got called out back by the managers. Okay guys, they basically explained to me what happened, how I overcharged this guy like 3 times, and they showed me like how to change the receipt roll. And I was like, look, I honestly didn't get told. Like, I understand. And you guys, I cried so much, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then as soon as I walked out of the office, I was like, oh my god, and I just started bawling my eyes out. I went back onto the shop floor to like clean up like health and beauty aisles and like other things, and I was crying and I couldn't stop. And then they called me at the back again, and they were like, stop crying. And I was like, I can't, I feel so bad. It was honestly terrible. Like, 14-year-old me, what were you doing? Okay, I was so mortified, guys. I never wanted to be put back on the registers again. So if you ever think that your first time at a job, or like your ever first stuff up at a job is bad, just remind yourself of what I did when I was 14 at my first job, okay? And I hope that makes you feel feel better. And don't make the same mistake as me, okay guys? Make sure you change the receipt roll.
I worked at Bernie Melville for literally one day, and I want to talk about how I got hired and my first shift because it's all just a very strange experience. I was at Brandy one day, I was shopping around for some new clothes, and a girl walked right up to me. She looks like about my age, and she goes, "You're pretty. Do you want to work here?" It caught me off guard. This was the first thing she said to me. She didn't say like, "Hi," or "How are you? What's your name?" She just said, "You're pretty. Do you want to work here?" As much as my brain was thinking, wow, that's so superficial, at the same time, I did feel flattered. Obviously, hiring people based off of purely just looks or the clothes they're wearing isn't right, but let's be honest. If you're on the positive side of that and a Brandy Melville worker walks up to you and tells you you're pretty, you feel good about it. You feel flattered. I was like, I do have another job, but if the shifts could work, I'd be open to it. And she was like, perfect. Okay, give me your email and your Instagram. And I was like, my Instagram? Like, what does that have to do with this? She flipped over a notes app to me, and it had like a long list of obviously a bunch of other girls she had talked to that day. So I put in my email, I put in my Instagram, and then I left. That was at like 3 p.m. That night at literally 9 p.m. I get an email from this girl, the manager, saying, "Hey Juliana, congrats, you got the job. Pick one of these days for your first day of training." I kind of knew before going in that this was not going to be my vibe and not something I was going to do for very long, but I kind of just wanted to do it just for the fuck of it. Like, I was like, let's just see what happens. Like, maybe I make some new friends, it could be fun, but I was just really curious what it was like behind the scenes. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I walk in the next week on my first day, and I go up to the register and I was like, "Hi, my name's Juliana, I'm here for my first day of training." And the girl just looks at me and she goes, "Okay." Well, is blank here, you know, the manager? She told me to come in at this time. And she goes, "Yeah, she's not here. She's not gonna be back for like another like hour, I think. But I guess you can just start with go backs." I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll do whatever. What's go backs? Mind you, I've never worked in sales before, so I had no clue what that meant. I'll show you. Walks over there. Mind you, I still haven't gotten her name at this point. And she was like, "Okay, so this is the dressing room, and this rack of clothes here is all the stuff that people who tried on and they don't want to buy. So you're gonna take stuff off this rack, go out to the floor, and put it back where it belongs." So I started doing go backs. I started just grabbing stuff off the rack and putting them back out on the floor. There was like 6 other girls working there at the time, and I had passed by them, they had passed by me. Not one of them acknowledged my existence, introduced themselves, talked to me, or anything. The only interactions that I had was when I worked up the courage to walk up to one of the employees and ask a question, because I had no instruction. Like, the only instruction I received was this girl telling me very vaguely how to do go backs. At one point, I found this shirt that I just could not find where it belonged. So I asked one of the girls, I was like, "Hey, like, could you help me find where this goes? It's my first day, like, I'm just still learning." And the girl that I asked was just like, "Yeah," grabs it, puts it back. That's kind of how all my experiences went. The girls weren't necessarily rude, but they just kind of lacked manners, I guess. Like, they didn't introduce themselves, they weren't kind, they weren't welcoming. A few hours go by and I still haven't seen the manager. She finally gets there and she walks up to me and she goes, "Oh yeah, Juliana, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she gives me about a 2-minute tour, tells me to go back to go backs, and I just keep working. My shift was a total of, I believe, like 5.5 hours long, and it was so painful. The shift felt like it was 10 hours long. I just felt so out of place. Like, I just was scared to ask questions. I just felt like I had to figure things out on my own, because every time I would walk up to a girl to ask a question, they looked like I was literally the most annoying person on planet Earth. The end of the night comes and they had all gathered at one corner of the store. I hear the manager go, "Juliana," and I was like, "Yeah?" And then I walk over there and there's literally, this is terrifying. There was like all 7 of the girls that were working and the manager, and they're all just sitting there like this, looking at me because they were waiting for me. And she was like, "We're doing walkthrough." And I was like, "What's walkthrough?" And then she explained it to me and all the girls were like, "How the fuck was I supposed to know what walkthrough is, okay? Nobody has told me anything. It's my first fucking day. How was I supposed to know what walkthrough is?" While we were in the back and everyone was grabbing their stuff to leave for the night, two of the girls were like drinking out of their Stanleys, and one of them goes, "Cheers, girl," and the other one was like, "I love Diet C. It's the best when I want to curb my appetite for as many meals as possible." I was like, oh my lord, what? And everybody in the room heard that. Nobody like turned their head. I was like, that's not normal. That's like not good. We do the walk through. I leave, and I knew when I was driving home that night that I was never fucking coming back. I just knew. I sent the manager an email the next day and told her that I wasn't coming back, and I didn't want to waste their time anymore. And that was my experience at Brandy. For one day.
Let's do a get ready with me for a Sephora shift while I tell you crazy holiday stories that have already started happening, because you know what? People are broke. So they're gonna rob the store every time. We're here and we're back with another Sephora story time because it's the holiday season and the stories are already getting juicy. Let me just give you a few stories on what the holiday season looks like when you work at a makeup store like Sephora. Look, I get it. Makeup and fragrance is expensive, but robbing a store, show out for Christmas is crazy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I could personally give a gift and be like, here you go, knowing the whole thing is fucking stolen. And you know, a lot of these stories, I feel like I missed the really good juicy ones, like this one that happened last week. It was one of my off days and I get a interesting text message. And that text message, simply put, said, someone just caught on fire in the parking lot. Now, I want you to imagine, okay, getting that text message and just looking at it and trying to put the pieces together. How could this possibly happen? Okay, we work at Sephora. What do you mean someone caught on fire in the parking lot? So my coworker's just like, wait until tomorrow when you come in and I'm just gonna tell you all the details because it's like crazy. And I'm like, okay, bet. So I go in the next day and I'm immediately like, can you explain, like, what do you mean someone caught on fire in the parking lot? There were two young men in the store and they were looking at the cologne, and I want you to keep in mind that any cologne that is out and about is fully used, okay? Like, it's being used by customers. So if you're taking a fragrance, like, you're taking a fragrance for yourself. So I know this wasn't a Christmas gift because these were two teenage boys stealing cologne. Boys take the fragrance, go to the back Kohl's store in order to like come with a plan to leave the store. Keep in mind that they're already aware that they have in fact stolen the fragrance. So at this point, they're just like waiting for them to leave the store. One at this point attempts to leave the store and is immediately like apprehended and is like, nope, we know you're stealing, like, come with us. So the one like left in the store is like, oh shit, like my friend just got caught, like I'm stuck, like I gotta go. But this teenage boy decides that he's gonna try to like, you know, make a run for it out of the store and just like try to dip up out of there, which, you know, do you, boo? Let's see how this goes for you. Takes the opportunity to start sprinting from the back of the store to try to go out the exit and like just run out. I want you to keep in mind that there are police officers fully waiting for this man outside. And he takes off and he gets to the parking lot and he's running and they're literally yelling at him. They're like, stop, stop. And he's still taking off. Like, he does not care about none of that shit. They yell at him and they're like, we're gonna tase you if you don't stop. Like, stop running. Apparently, he also happened to steal an Amika hairspray. And that was found out through what's about to happen next. Doesn't listen, so they decide to tase him. And as soon as that taser hits that man, his pants immediately catch on fire because apparently one of the prongs hit the hairspray and poof. So just fair warning, the Amika hairsprays are very flammable if you didn't know. They're like, police officers are literally stepping on this man trying, oh. What? Hello? The police are literally like stepping on this man's pants trying to put him out. He ended up having to take his mugshot photos in his underwear because his pants burnt off. I've grown up believing in karma, and that is the most instant karma I've ever seen in my life, if I think I've heard of one. Yesterday while I was at work, we had a credit card fraud attempt. So basically they were trying to use someone's like account information in order to purchase $1,000 in gift cards. This is very common to the point that like it blocks those type of transactions when it sees them. They don't tend to happen a lot. The guy was really calm about the situation and just left, which is good because the only other option in the end of this story was him getting arrested because, babe, we know it's fake. There was a situation last year, I remember I'd only been working at Sephora at this point, probably like for 4 months. And there was a woman in there and she was trying to purchase like $2,000 in gift cards. Now it's the holiday season, so normally that's not normal, but I figured because it's the holiday season, like, okay, people are gonna be dropping like a bag on gifts. So I thought that this was one of the cases. I was trying to like check her out. It was doing the same thing where it would not let me check her out. At this point, I've never seen that before because obviously new. And I look at it and I'm like, for some reason it like won't let me put this transaction through. And unlike this man who calmly exits the premises, this woman fully starts cussing me out, and I'm the only one working and it's like 8 o'clock at night and we close like in an hour. She's like, you dumb beep. First of all, Watch yourself. He's like, are you sitting here trying to call me broke? Like, you won't have my transaction go through. Like, I have this money in my account. Like, I'll show you my bank account right now. Again, new in retail. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am. Like, I don't know why it's not working. Like, I'll call someone over. And she was like, yeah, call your boss over. Like, call them over right now. I did. And because she was like getting so loud and like rude, my manager at the time was like, ma'am, this is fake. Like, this is fake. So unless you're gonna leave, we're gonna call the police on you. She proceeds to go on this whole rant how she's a real killer and she'll come back up and blow this place up. And then walks out. And I had to be walked out to my car that night. Okay, guys, so I'm done with my makeup, which means I'm done with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed that Sephora story time. And best believe there is gonna be a lot more because it's only November. Yeah. All right, I will talk to you guys later and I will see you next time. Bye.
Things that absolutely piss me off about working in retail. Number one, I can't stand to see big groups of girls or boys walking into the store. If it's a group of guys, my coworkers and I immediately know that they're probably just there to make a mess or to voice their opinions on a level 10 for at least an hour. When it's a group of girls, I don't just mean a group of girls coming in for a shopping day. I mean the group of middle school girls that always seem to come in. They're always either super freaking loud, super messy, or super freaking ghetto. Why they're always screaming, I will never know. Next thing I hate, when people will use our fitting room and they will leave every single thing that they tried on the freaking floor, as if there isn't a go back rack literally 2 feet away from them. Another thing I can't stand is when someone will come up to me asking for help, but they clearly see that I'm in the middle of doing something with a different customer. It's different when they're asking for help for when I'm done, but I'm talking about the people that will get pissed at me just because I didn't go right away and leave the other person that I was helping. This one gets me every time. If you're gonna stand there and fight over who's gonna pay, please step aside so I can take somebody else while y'all decide. Next one doesn't bother me that much, but on the days when I'm really not feeling it and I really just want to go home, it pisses me off. People that will know that the store's closing in like 2 minutes, they will still walk through those doors. Hey, like, our doors are still open, so technically yes, you can still come in. That's not the problem. The problem is when they take 20 extra minutes knowing that the store closed literally 20 minutes ago and then still take their sweet time looking through everything and then have the audacity to ask for the fitting room. Like, no babe, the fitting room's been closed, so have we, so like, please get out. Next thing, which I know is bound to happen, but it still freaking pisses me off, when I just finished folding or hanging up something, someone will go and destroy it all within the next minute. It's fine whenever I don't notice. It's definitely not okay when I do notice, especially if the day is going by so slow. Like, that honestly just makes me want to crawl into a hole. The last thing that really gets me, when somebody asks me to scan an item, they want to sit there and fight me about the price that it is. Get this? Because sometimes you really want something and you think it's one price and then it's not, so then it kind of just makes you mad. The majority of the time, it's literally just because they read the sign wrong. Like, girl, it is not my fault you can't read. That was all for this video. Let me know if you guys want a part 2 of this. Like, I have so many more. I love you guys, and don't forget that Jesus loves you too. Mwah. Bye, guys.
I'm a manager at my store, and I guess because I'm young, people just don't really believe me when I tell them stuff. I'll have customers come up to me and ask if we sell a product, and I'll be like, no, sorry, we don't stock that. They'll just turn to me and go, it's okay if you don't know, sweetie, like, blah, 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 blah. You can go ask someone else if you don't know. I'm like, I'm literally the manager. I do get a lot of satisfaction when they go and ask someone else and then the other person calls for me and I get to come along and say, as I said before, we don't stock that product. I was serving a lady the other day. She was paying with cash, so I put out my hand to take her cash and she throws the money at me onto the counter. I had my hand out. It's not like I was making you wait or something, but I'm hella petty, so when I got her change out, she had her hand out and I put it down on the desk and she was like, I was like, it's right there. Because why are you going to throw your money at me? There's no need for that. Also, if you're a cashier and you pack people's bags, this should not be a controversial opinion. Eggs go at the bottom of the damn bag. It is so frustrating when you start packing someone's bag and then they start redoing it in front of you. I'm just like, give up. I start scanning as fast as I can so that their items pile up and it's harder for them. Because honestly, just let me do it. Like, why are you being like this? I know how to do it, okay? I already put on my lash serum today because I did my mascara already. A week ago, I was using my goddamn eyelash curler and ripped out the front chunk of my eyelashes. So this is looking a little sparse, and I'm currently using 2 lash serums, praying that one of them does something. Please pray for me that there are not heaps of rude customers this year, because the past 2 years I've worked in the same place. Me and my co-workers do like a count of the amount of rude customers you have to deal with, and for some reason mine is always the most. And I swear to God, I'm so patient. I feel like if I have to deal with anyone rude this year, I'm actually just gonna cry, because my patience is just running thin at the moment. I can't deal with your problems anymore. Stop rushing me. You have somewhere to get, I get it, but like, I'm going as fast as I fucking can. Like, just chill, please. This is your reminder to treat retail workers like humans, because we are humans and you're so mean sometimes. Anyways, that is my little rant.
Let me tell you about the most toxic job I've ever had. I literally only lasted like 1 week, not even. There were red flags from the start, okay? And girls, we all know we love to ignore the red flags, but don't. It's like a group interview and it was just so bizarre. The things and tasks and like activities we had to do, it did not even describe our experience or our personalities well. It was just the weirdest interview ever, and that was the first red flag, let me tell you. A couple days before the store actually opened, I had to go in with another co-worker and like help set up the store, so we had to like sort out the clothing racks and things like that. I remember that day there were people from like other management things like that were connected to the business that were coming in, and they just all looked so angry and they weren't very friendly. Like the vibes were just off, and now looking back I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so obvious. So my first shift that I ever had there technically was the opening day. I'm pretty sure there were some sort of rules about like what you had to wear. Like you had to wear, I think it was like at least one piece of clothing from the brand or something, but because it was the first week, like I literally didn't own anything from the brand. I remember I wore a pair of like white linen pants, like it all looked really nice. I had like a white top on, so I looked very formal, and I wore a grey blazer, and this blazer was literally like an op shop blazer, but it was like really cute, like it looked really formal. And you guys, I kid you not, when I walk in, the manager looks me up and down, and I walk in, I'm feeling so confident. I am a very anxious person. I walked in, I felt so confident, I felt so cute. I was like ready for the opening day. I was like, you know what, I've got this new job, new experiences. I felt so confident, and as soon as I walked in, the manager literally went to me, and oh my gosh, my confidence was just like And also something to note, we had never been trained prior to this opening day, so I walked in confident, but I had no idea what I was going to do because we did not receive one bit of training. Look, I worked in retail for 6 years. I worked at TK Maxx, by the way, if you didn't know, so I know what retail can be like. I think they probably just assumed like we would know what to do, but this style of like retail was more like boutique, like one-on-one shopping, whereas I was used to like a big department store, like say Kmart, Target, kind of like that style, and all the other workers were kind of the same like background as well, so we had not received one bit of training. So I can wing it, you know, and you're going in, this is like a different style of retail, but they had given us zero training, and these expectations that the managers and people within the company had were insane. Okay, let me just say that. And I know that everyone has KPIs and things that they need to follow, but this was absolutely ridiculous. So to put all these experiences briefly into a quick story time, basically at the start I got put in like the fitting room, so I had to make sure that customers were going in with like a certain amount, and I was like basically trying to upsell them so that they would buy more clothes. I'm standing there and I'm like, you know, like what are you shopping for? And like I'm like, oh, this dress or this dress, and I'm like bringing multiple items of clothing for them to try on to try and upsell. With most of the customers, they were pretty much all coming in and like shopping for dresses and things, so I would come in with like a couple of different dress options and be like, oh, this dress would look beautiful, you know, like I was freaking killing it if I do say so myself. Apparently not. This manager pulls me aside. The way that she pulled me aside was so horrible, like, and all the other co-workers could obviously like hear and see what was going on. Like I didn't get taken out the back, I was basically like just pulled around the corner so customers and things could hear. Basically said I needed to stop recommending dresses and like start building outfits, so like a top, pair of pants and some accessories to, you know, get that money basically. And I'm trying my hardest, right? So I'm like, you know, upselling again, and she pulls me aside and she's like, I'm gonna put you on the floor, like you can greet customers and things. And I'm like, okay, like thank you, like I'm being so like grateful, and I'm like, yep, I take this feedback on board, like I'm going to change it. And you're greeting the customers, you know, as they walk in, I have to be like, hi, how are you, like what are you shopping for today, and you know, just kind of like get to know them. I think I'm doing it really well again, but apparently not. The manager pulls me aside again, and the manager basically says like, you know, you're not following them around, you're not like getting to know them enough. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm harassing these customers already, so now I have to like take it up to 100%, and that is just not like me. It's not in my bones. I felt so awkward, but I'm like, okay, thank you, like will do. Gonna get onto it. I know as a customer myself, I know when I'm just shopping and browsing, I don't like it when workers are harassing me. I'm literally harassing these customers, and I'm like following them because the manager is watching me like this, and I'm like, oh my god. It's such a hostile, horrible environment. Like I felt like I was constantly being watched. I was never doing enough. I was never selling enough basically. Don't even get me started on the back room. Like when it was our break, we had to sit basically on cold concrete. There was no fridge, no microwave. I guess it was a new store, so like they still had some things to fix and like get. I hope that eventually they got fridges and microwaves, because I had to buy lunch, or I had to bring an esky brick and like sit on the cold floor and eat my cold lunch. And literally 2 people could fit in that room. So if someone needed to come out the back to get like clothing stock, I had to help them because I was eating my lunch and I had to like help them find the clothing. It was just not good at all. I remember I did like a Friday like 9 to 5 shift, and it was horrible. I remember going to the bathroom and crying. The manager was just so horrible. I just did not want to be there anymore. I remember that night, like after we closed up, she was like, I'll see you tomorrow, and I was like, yep, but I knew that I was never coming back. I emailed my resignation that night, and people like slowly started dying off. Like nobody wanted to work there. It was so bad. I just knew that I had to get out of there as soon as possible because it was not good for me mentally. No, I'm not going to say the retail place, but it's a popular Australian clothing brand. That's all I'm going to say, okay?
Hi, welcome in. Are we doing a return? Yep. Okay.
And you have the receipt. Awesome. If you don't mind me asking, was there something wrong with it or did you just not like it? Yeah. Just so you know, this is the first day that I have even felt confident enough to leave my house. That's how bad it broke me out. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this one, it has so many fragrances and dyes. People love it. But if you have sensitive skin like me, like I have eczema, this breaks me out like crazy. I'm so sorry. I didn't ask. Oh, okay. 1 second. Let me process this. Yeah, I don't have sensitive skin. I don't have eczema. I don't get breakouts. There's something wrong with that product. Well, it's not expired. I don't know, maybe you're allergic to an ingredient in it. Again, I'm really sorry, but I don't know. I don't think you're understanding the severity of this situation, given that you're the one who sold it to me. You're right, I don't think I do. What? Yeah, you want to stand up here and be all giggly, but just so you know, I've already emailed the company that makes that product, and I've already emailed corporate, because you're the one that sold that to me. You are going to lose your job. You're lucky that I don't sue you. You're messing with me. You're not messing with me. Okay. I'll play along. So, by your logic, if I have a peanut allergy and the cashier at the grocery store by my house sells me peanut butter, I can get her fired and potentially sue her. If it's like this where there's foul play involved, yeah, you could. Foul play. Okay, I'm gonna go get my manager and they're gonna take it from here because I can't. I'm sorry, again.
In honor of me leaving customer service and beginning my career, here's my craziest customer service stories that I've experienced over the last 7 years. I started off in the food industry and I worked at this restaurant that sold acai bowls and poke bowls, and that place I had the craziest stories at. We were known for having regulars at this place, and we had the annoying regulars that felt they were entitled to something just because they came there often. This guy would come in every single day and get the same drink. It was a large kombucha with no ice, and I literally still remember it. One day he came in and he said, "Oh, if you see me walking through the door, just start making my drink." So I said, "Okay, that's fine." So the next day he comes in, he's walking in, so I'm grabbing and I'm doing what he asked me to. I'm grabbing his drink and I'm starting to make it, and I'm asking him how his day is. He looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm making your drink, just like we spoke about, remember?" And he goes, "Well, it'd be nice if you asked what I wanted." He ended up getting the same thing anyway, so I don't really know what the point of that comment was. Our menu prices changed once, and we had the cheaper menu on the board, so when the more expensive item was ringing up, this man yelled at me over 50 cents. We obviously fixed it and honored it for him, but the fact that he was screaming at me, I was 16 or 17 at the time, he was screaming at me. This is a full grown man yelling at me over 50 cents for a smoothie. I once had this bowl that I was making for a woman, and she had so many toppings that I was just kind of very carefully putting them on, and she stopped me in the middle of me making her bowl and said, "Can you make it look nicer?" We closed at 8, and if the doors were shut at 7:58 or 7:59, the owner's family would always roll up around that time. So the managers, I wasn't a manager, but the managers would always shut the door a minute or two before close. And every time that happened, the owner's family would just suddenly appear and complain, and then we would all get in trouble. And no, his family never came during business hours. They came minutes before we closed. So then we would have to open everything up that we had just spent hours cleaning, and we would have to redo everything just for them, and they wouldn't tip us and they wouldn't pay either. We had this guy that walked around town and just screamed, and we had these big windows that opened up for the restaurant so that you could see out, and it looked really nice in the summertime, and this guy would just walk into the window, scream at us, and walk away. I had a Karen probably every single day of my shift. I was literally miserable at this job. And my manager wasn't one to defend her employees. She was the one that would just accept the money over anything else. I had an Uber driver yell at me because he grabbed the wrong order, and there was the same name but a different last name. So he went all the way over to this lady's house, tried to deliver the food. It was the wrong food. He came back and caused a whole scene screaming at me. And everyone sitting there had to just stare, and no one stood up for me. Or another time when we handed off a DoorDash driver this order, and half of it was incomplete because we were still working on it, and all of us were really confused because this order was huge. The woman came in and was causing such a scene that there was a line forming out the door because she was refusing for us to accept any other orders until hers was fixed. We were trying to give her a gift card. She was like, "I don't want a gift card. I'm never shopping here again." And then 30 seconds later, she'd be like, "Where's my gift card?" Working there was a doozy. And then I ended up quitting. Switching over to retail, I really didn't expect the difference to be that drastic. One time when I was working at my first retail clothing store, this guy came in and ransacked the whole store, threw our mannequins, caused felony amounts of damage, and the district manager happened to be visiting that day. We ended up having the situation de-escalated. Police got involved. We had to shut the store down. There was customers in the store when this happened, so this was just a whole ordeal. I was terrified. I was 19 or 20 at the time, and I literally thought that I was going to die because it was so scary seeing the entire accessory wall fly, mannequins that were heavier and taller than me flying and their limbs breaking as they were falling. The district manager, of course, she was there for her yearly visit. Ended up, obviously talking to the police. We got the situation sorted, and then she had us open up the store and pretend like nothing happened. One time this guy wanted to buy this shirt and there was a stain on it, so I offered him, our store's damage discount, which was 10%. And then he goes, "I think you could do a little better than that." "Sir, this isn't a flea market." Or people would ask us if we sold kids' clothes, which none of the stores I've ever worked at did, and people would get mad at us as if I could just go in the back and like sew up a kid style. One day I'm on a conference call and my associates come in freaking out because someone had peed all over a giant pile of clothes in the fitting room. And then when I had to damage out every single item, the pee smell was so rancid it burned my nose and made my eyes water. One time I worked at a place that needed a key to open up the fitting room, so whenever customers would come and ask us, I would count out their items and just, situate them into the fitting room. These two girls that were known for shoplifting, they were both like 13 and 14. They were known for shoplifting around the mall. I saw them walk in and they weren't even asking for a fitting room. They were just standing at like the door where the handicap fitting room was, which was the biggest one. They were just waiting for that person to come out. So when I asked them if they needed a fitting room and I tried to put them into smaller separate rooms, they got mad at me. I ended up crawling underneath the door because no one was in there and they realized that. So they crawled under the door and then I hear them coughing going as sensors are popping off and like we hear them falling. So me and my friend that were working, we're just kind of standing like nearby the door. We hear them like going and like dropping all these sensors and like we literally see the sensors falling because there was like a big gap between like the door and the floor. So like we literally are just like peeking over and we see sensors flying and like these girls are like laughing. Police got called and they came back with all the items after the girls had left the store and obviously stolen. When I went back into the fitting room after they left, there was so many sensors. It literally looked like someone just took our sensor bucket and like dumped it on the floor. The police came back with all the items and it was literally like half of the stock that we had just put out and it was insane. This was fairly recent. This happened in April and the mall lost power because we had a crazy ice and snowstorm that just hit out of nowhere. So we didn't have power from like Saturday until Tuesday. And on the mall's community Facebook page, someone posted, "What, did Godzilla crush the mall? Is that why the power's not out? Like, I can't go shopping. This is such an inconvenience." And then shortly after that, we actually got Godzilla t-shirts in shipment. Working retail around the holidays is genuinely not for the weak. Every single time that I've done it, regardless of what store I'm at, regardless of what's happening, the people are always so atrocious and so mean. I literally had a woman call me over and specifically request for a manager just to tell me that my associate should be fired because a pair of pants was put onto the wrong table and obviously the full price pants were put onto the sale price pants and they looked similar but they were not the same pant and I obviously couldn't override it because someone put it there. So she made a whole scene and like the other customers in line were ganging up against this associate being like, "Oh my god, yeah, like she should be fired." And it was this like, I'm like, Santa Claus is coming to town and this is how you're acting? Or when a customer called me over because he wanted to prove a point that he got the discount before the actual store went on sale, and then when I finally ended up trying to reverse the transaction to return it to him and like get the new discount price, it would have just evened out to zero. And he goes, "That's what I wanted you to see, the bottom line." I swear some people literally just come into the mall because they like want to prove a point and like be mean to retail workers. One time I worked at a store where like they told us to remove the entire clearance section for Black Friday and like the store had not a great discount. So a woman came up to me on that Black Friday and she like yelled at me because the clearance wall was gone and she wasn't getting a good discount. When COVID was a thing, we would close at 5 on Sundays, which I really do miss because that day was so quick. I would have people, literally it was Sunday, every single Sunday, people were yelling at me because we closed at 5 and they were like, "But it's the middle of the day." And it was like summertime, so it was still really bright out. I do miss COVID because those hours were nuts. Or when we closed at 7 every other day and people would yell at us because it's like a Saturday at 6:30 and we're getting ready to close. This woman once came into my old job and she was like, "Oh, like I have credit cards at every other store, so that means I should get a discount here because you guys don't offer a rewards program or a credit card. So since I'm a honorary card member everywhere else, you're gonna honor me a discount here." She didn't get her discount. I'm just like, the nerve of some people, like how does that equate into logic? I could go on and on. I have so many stories. I worked customer service for a very long time, so let me know if you want a part 2.
Be a store manager, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I get here at 8:30 this morning, and I'm like, great, this is gonna be a great day. It's a Saturday at Mall of America. For context, my staff this morning was a staff of 4 people. 2 to 3 of them are on registers, the other 1, and sometimes the other 2 are out on the floor recovering. Well, unfortunately for one of my associates, she got into a little accident this morning, so she wasn't able to come in, which is fine. Your safety is more important than this job. Okay, whatever. And then my third person quit out of the blue. I wasn't expecting it, just quit. It is what it is. It's fine. I looked in the mirror and I said, this day couldn't get any worse. Boom, my card machines go down. Only cash transactions. Everybody's pissed. They go to the ATM and they take out hundreds of dollars. Everybody starts shopping with $100 bills. Great. Bill checking them, it's fine. Boom! I run out of 20s and 10s. I had 17 $100 bills back to back to back. So before you say you should have been prepared for that, I was prepared for that because we never get that many hundreds. I'm in the back, just me and one other associate. I call POS. I'm like, hey, my card machines are down. They're like, Please wait for the next available representative. You're next in queue. Great, this should take like 5 minutes. Boom. Hold. 27 minutes and 32 seconds. Finally, she answers. She's like, oh, your internet's down. Easy fix. Okay, cool. Let's get this shit up and going. An hour later, finally, the card machines turn back on. I'm like, great. Everything is cool. I have no workers until 4 p.m. My only other worker with me says, can I count off? Why would you count off? Oh, I'm off at 3. I'm pretty sure the schedule says 4. No, that was yesterday. Could you stay? Could you stay? Thankfully, she said yes. Everything's good. Not moving from the register. Just person after person, doing my best not to cry. I'm like, the day is almost over. We got this. You can get through it. Why did this lady come in with her dog? And the dog shit on the motherfucking floor. Ruined pairs of pants. I'm like, hey, could you clean it up, please? She said, yeah, no problem. Okay, cool. They gave her the paper towels. Starts to clean it up. She said, that wasn't my dog who shit on the floor. Casper's got a dog? Cause baby, that shit wasn't on the floor before you and your dog was in here. Oh, it was already there. You know what? I'm not even gonna argue with you. If it's not your dog, it's not your dog. Thanks for cleaning it up. Whatever. It was definitely her dog that shit on the floor. It was literally shitting as they were walking. Then, this lady proceeds to leave the shitty paper towels all over the floor, run out the store with piles of shit still all over the floor. So then, as if this day couldn't get any worse, I call mall security. You know what they said? They said, wow, that's a really shitty situation. Oh, that pun probably would have been so funny had I not had my 13th reason 47 reasons ago. They said, oh, well, unfortunately, we have housekeeping, but not inside the tenant spaces. So we can provide you with the cleaning products to clean it up, but we can't clean it for you. I have to clean it up? What do you mean? Done.
Because if I pop off on you like a person in the outside world, then you're gonna be looking stupid. As you can tell, it's a time for another shift at Sephora. And I just left the gym. But let me tell you guys what happened to me on Friday. Structure my brain chemistry, because I was like, oh my god, I literally had to take a lap around the store so I wouldn't go beat up an old lady. Not that I would do that. No, I would never do that. Ever. Okay, cool. I was working on Friday with like 2 of my other co-workers, and it was a pretty normal day. Like, there was a good amount of people coming in and out of the store at a good pace, so like it wasn't too crazy. So one of my co-workers just got done checking someone out, and so there were 2 girls behind the register, and so a lady comes up to me, and she's an older lady. Let me preface by saying she's an older white lady. Is it important to the story? You let me know once I get done telling you the story. She comes up to me and she's like, hi, like, I'm looking for an anti-aging product, and that's all she says, right? And obviously, like, if you know anything about Sephora, it's a big store. You know, we have skincare anti-aging products, we have makeup anti-aging products. You know, I need a little direction. All I did was look at this lady and ask her that exact question. Okay, which one are you looking for? Are you looking for more like skincare, makeup? Is it like a moisturizer that you're looking for a little anti-aging? I kid you not, this woman looks at me like this and then puts her hand in my face and then walks away. And I'm like, oh, so much to the point that another customer that was in the store looked at me and was like, what's her problem? And I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not crazy. Like, you peep that lady is trying to clock my tea, right? Like, fully. And I'm like, oh. And it's tenuous times right now. So, you know, I really took that to heart. Like, I said out loud, I'm not even gonna lie, I was like, oh, well, have a good day. As she was still shopping around the store. I didn't even care about that. Like, I literally was like, I'm gonna go take a lap. I'll be back. And that's what I did. I took a little lap around the store to clear my mind, hoping that she'd be gone. But no, she wasn't so gone. She was there. And it got worse. We were like standing outside of Sephora, and you could tell she was trying to get someone's attention. And I was like, is this old lady about to like snitch on me for something? Like, oh, okay, like, bet. I already know I'm not in the wrong. You're in the wrong. I can already tell the type of person you are, baby. Clocking your tea already. And like, we can see her like looking for someone, and she finally finds a manager on the other side of the store, and she's like pointing over to our side, and I'm just like, y'all, just ignore her. Like, at the end of the day, we didn't do nothing wrong. She is the problem. She's talking to one of the managers, and she's like pointing over, and then he comes over with her, and he looks at my white coworker, and he's like, hey, like, do you mind like helping her out? Like, she needs help with this like skincare product, like blah blah blah. And he like looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, Like, come on, let me talk to you. Let me see what this lady said. And I was like, what did she say? And he was like, I could already tell the type of person she was. And he was like, I was trying to figure out if she was racist or not. So I asked her, I said, was it the 2 black girls in there or was it the white girl? And she was like, I don't know, they were black. And that's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know. And the whole time, like, she asked me for a product, but she already knew what she wanted. Like, my coworker was like, oh, she knew exactly what she wanted. She went straight to the anti-aging product she wanted. So Miss Girl was just being really messy. I had the sweetest little girl come in and she was just like, you're so pretty, thank you for helping me. And I'm like, you know what? That's all that matters, okay? The good outweighs the bad, even though the bad is a lot. I just thought I'd share that story with y'all to let y'all know that, like, you know, sometimes people do try you. It is okay to try them back. Retail workers are people too, okay? So let's start treating them accordingly, because if I pop off on you like a person in the outside world, then you're gonna be looking stupid. I promise you, I'm a college student. I like my job, but not that much. Clock it. All right, I'm done ranting. I gotta go.
I feel so sorry for anyone working in retail around Christmas time. Around Christmas, I'm honestly convinced people forget how to act like normal human beings. I remember around Christmas time, customers would get so angry, especially if what you had wasn't in stock. I worked at Rebel Sports, and around Christmas season, it was just hell. I remember one time this guy tried stealing $2,000 worth of like jewelry and equipment, and we're always told to just let them walk. Like, you're not meant to stop someone stealing. Although since I had been there for honestly quite a while, I ended up just getting really fed up with people stealing. When you work in retail, you're trained in the whole of the store. So when it came to stock count and obviously things are missing, it made it so annoying. And don't get me wrong, if we know that they're stealing, we'll obviously do everything we can to prevent it, like follow them or like fill up stock near them. I remember halfway through my time at Rebel, this new manager joined. So there was 2 women, 1 man, and one of these women, she just did not put up with stealing at all. Obviously there was only so much she could do, but she did kick them out and they actually listened for the first time. So to literally anybody working in retail around the Christmas time, good luck going into this busy season. And if you're going shopping around Christmas time, just know that these workers literally never get a break, and maybe just be a bit more nice to them. At this point, you can almost get everything you want online, so just do that if you're in a bad mood. Like, do not ruin these teenagers' days. Anyway, love you guys so much. Bye.
I worked at Brandy Melville for approximately 1 day. So, I want to say a couple months ago, I was shopping in Brandy Melville. I just needed some clothes, and I go to check out with my bag full of clothes, and the girl that's checking me out the register goes, oh my god, you look like you could work at Brandy Melville. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. I'm going to take it as a compliment. I am. I think I'm pretty. I'm going to take it as a compliment. And so she goes, no, seriously, like, you should apply to work here. And at the time, I didn't really need a second job. Like, I was pretty happy in my career. I don't need a second job. But I will do it for the plot. And so I'm like, okay, how do you like working here? And she goes, well, if you get hired on, you won't see much of me because I'm not working here anymore. But everybody else really loves it. And so I took that and I was like, okay, maybe. And I was like, how much do y'all get paid? And she goes, oh, we get paid like $20 an hour. For $20 an hour, I'll do it. I'll do it. And so she directs me to scan a little QR code. So I scanned the QR code, and I thought it was gonna be like a normal job application. No, that job application said availability Instagram handle. Okay. So I put in my availability and I put in my Instagram handle, and I don't think much of it. I kid you not, like maybe like 2 months pass, and I kind of forget about it. I forget all about Brandy Melville until one day I'm on my phone and somebody double taps one of my photos. I go check to see who liked it because it's not somebody that I'm following or that follows me. And the like goes away. And so I'm like, okay, that's a little sus, but whatever. 5 minutes later, I get a little text. Hey, Jayla, it's so-and-so from Brandy Melville. Got your application. Really thought you'd be a great fit. Do you have time for a FaceTime? A FaceTime? Okay. And like I said, I'm going to do it for the plot. She calls me up and she is just talking. And she goes, we saw your Instagram. You thought you'd be a great fit. Tell me a little bit about your retail experience. And mind you, I have like 1.5 years of Lululemon experience, so retail can be fine for me. She goes, great. I'll pass over all this information to my manager. Like, what information have I given you? You saw my Instagram. You know I worked at Lululemon. I guess that's all you need. And so she texts me 5 minutes later. I was like, actually, can I get your email too? I totally forgot to ask. Okay. And then a little bit after that, they send me over like, oh, welcome to the team. Here's your onboarding. Okay, cool. Got the job. Easy. And so it takes a little bit of time for me to get started on. I don't know why, just like back and forth. I have a second job. They weren't really structured or organized. And so I finally get started, and I come in for my first day of training, and I kid you not, I got 0 training. They said, hop on a register. Okay, I can put 2 and 2 together. I can do this. It's not gonna be that hard. And so I put 2 and 2 together. I start scanning people, welcoming people in. She tells me, you don't have to talk to anybody if you don't want to. Okay, I mean, sure. And so she then shows me how to like fold the clothes. And as I'm progressively doing this and my day is just ticking away, I notice that I am starting to talk like this. And I'm starting to lose brain cells. Like the 2 that I walked in there with, I'm gonna walk out with 1. 1 is staying at branding level. And this is no hate to the girls that work there, but it's just not for me personally. And so I call my best friend up because, mind you, they forgot to send me on my break until about 45 minutes until my shift was over. And I was working an 8-hour shift, so I was a little mad. But they send me on my break, and I call my best friend and I say, I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna leave. I can't do this. I'm losing brain cells. And she goes, Jayla, really? And if you know me, I stayed at the same job for about 6 years. Like, I'm a loyal girly. So me wanting to walk out of a job and to tell you, it was really bad. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't worth the little $20 an hour they were giving us. A great job for a high schooler or a freshman in college that just wants something low-key, simple. I think that would be perfect for them. Not for me. I need something with a little bit more, just a little bit more. And so I return back to finish out the last 15 minutes of my shift because I'm a good person. Finish out the last 15 minutes of my shift. It's a closing shift. And they're like, oh my God, Jayla, you did such a good job. You just really picked up on it. Like, so when do you want to work next? And I'll send you over like our group me, and I'll send you over everything that you need to get started on. I say, oh, thank you. I'm not coming back. They don't know that, but I'm not coming back. And so they text me. I think they finally get the point that I'm not coming back because that was awful. I lost brain cells that day.
So working and closing retail stores, literally the worst job ever. Actually, so I work at a grocery store. If you happen to see the label or the logo, whatever the fuck it's called on my shirt, anywhere and whenever I move my arm, not my problem. I don't care. Customer comes stomping up to the front, walks out through the register lane, starts stomping, and is like, there's nobody at the desk. Desk was closed, girl. No one needed to be there. Like, it's closed. But I got up and I said, how can I help you? Like, I'm right here. Shows me her receipt and goes, every single item on this is on sale except one. And I was like, okay, can I see the receipt? She goes, I don't even have anything to, she's like, crumbles it up and then goes, here. So I take it, I'm looking. I was like, okay, like, I see the item, like, can I see the sale? And she goes, you can't see the sale on the receipt? And I was like, well, no, you just told me it's not on sale. So can I see the sale that you're referring to? Like, I don't know what the sale is. She goes, can you not rush me? I was like, I'm not rushing you. I just asked to see the sale sign. Like, take your time, no worries. So I walk behind the desk, and she goes, and don't speak to me like that. I was like, speak to you like what? She's like, the way you're speaking to me. You're lucky I'm not your mother. She's like, you speak to your mother like that, not me. She's like, because if I was your mother, I would slap the fuck out of you. Who the fuck are you, bitch? Like, what? Okay. Takes literally everything in me to not beat the fuck out of this lady, okay? So I'm standing there, and I said, can I see the sale sign so I can give you the sale, so I can adjust it for you? Mind you, the item she grabbed, not on sale. I just don't give a fuck. Because at this point, like, now you're threatening me, and I still have to do it because I'm going to get in trouble if I don't. Whew. Company policies really irritate me. Yep. So she shows me the sign, and I was like, okay. So give me 1 second. Let me just put in the code, and then I can adjust it for you. I said, I'm sorry, can I see the sign again? She goes, here. And then takes it back and goes, actually, sticks her hand under the plexiglass that's at the desk and goes, here, because obviously you can't read. I said, I can read very fine. Thank you so much. You can take your phone back now.
and here's your 80 cents. She walks away and goes, perfect, thank you. Say you're fucking broke, bitch. Say you're broke, that you're fighting with me over 80 fucking cents for an item that's not even on sale that I only gave to you because you just fucking threatened to hit me. Like, hello? The fuck? Like, oh my god. Like, people here think I'm kidding when I say I get nasty fucking customers. No. I think that's one of the nastiest. The other time was when somebody came to do a Western Union and I wasn't allowed to do them manually at the time. And I told the man that. I said, if you do it through the app, I can help you. And he got all pissed, even though I stood there with him for 40 minutes, helped him create an account, did the entire thing. All he had to do was fucking pay in person. Threw a hissy fit. He's like, you're just fucking lazy. You don't want to do it yourself. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I literally can't do it myself, sir. Otherwise I would, and we would have been done 40 fucking minutes ago. Like, I was like, you can go to Walgreens, though. They'll do it for you. Like, if you don't want to just pay, they'll go do everything else for you. So, there's one go. And so he comes back maybe like an hour later. I had just come back from my break, and he's the first man I see, shoves the receipt in my face and goes, you're just fucking lazy because look, they did it all for me. And I said, thank you so much for showing me that. I'm so happy for you. Now that your Western Union's done, you can go home, right? He was like, you're just a lazy bitch. You didn't want to help me. So I got out from around the desk and I said, really? Because I sat here for 40 minutes helping you create an account, did literally everything for you on your phone. All you had to do was pay. And he was with his son. I said, so why don't you take your son and your Western Union receipt, get out of my face, and go take your son to the park or something. It's a nice summer day, right? Yeah, okay. Have a nice day. Thank you. Like, don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Like, I am so tired of people here. Like, working retail is absolutely sickening because people just think they can do whatever the fuck they want here. No, you fucking can't. I'm a person. I am a person. And you're lucky I am a person that is clocked in that can't afford to lose my job. Because otherwise, whew, oh my god, trust, I would be losing my job if I could afford to. And I would have lost my job 2 years ago. I have been working in this job for 3 years, almost 3 years next month. And I'm absolutely sick of it. I get yelled at by almost every single customer I have. Anyone who is not white tells me I'm racist. Anyone who is white tells me I'm racist. I just can't win. Like, I just can't win. And it makes me want to cry. Like, it makes me want to angry cry because I'm so pissed off. Like, oh my god, it, like, seriously angers me. Like, I have a job interview on Monday, and quite literally, I cried at the thought of getting out of this place. Which is pathetic, because I should not be crying at the thought of getting out of a job. Like, I can't. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm here till 11 now, and I'm going to be thinking about this lady yelling at me over the 80 cents for the rest of the night because how pissed off she made me. So, yep.
I've been wanting to tell this story for a really long time, but I don't know how to put it into a skit. It's just like not possible. I'm just gonna tell this story and hope that you guys think it's as funny as I do. Like back in like 2018, I used to work at this jewelry store, and the jewelry store was inside of a mall. And across the directly across from us on the second level of this mall was a J. Jill store, which if you don't know, J. Jill sells like, it's like a clothing store, but they market towards like older women, and their shit is so expensive. It's like $90 for a shirt. Anyways, the people that worked there were such bitches. They were so rude, and they couldn't stand us. Like, they were always giving us dirty looks from across the way, like this grumpy through their doors, but we didn't like them either because they were rude. I'm gonna be so real, I'm pretty sure it's because we were always like dying laughing and you could hear it through the whole mall. Everything was so funny all the time. I worked with the most hilarious people, okay? It was not possible not to cry laughing every day, and they were so grumpy they had no joy left in their hearts, if we're being real. But anyways, we didn't like them either because they were rude and mean and kept giving us dirty looks from across the way. So like the running joke of our store was like, fuck J. Jill. They were the only store that we could see directly from where we were sitting, so we were just forced to be watching and observing them at all times. And one of these things that we noticed was that J. Jill was always opening late. It was like 10-15 minutes after we were supposed to open. But if we, God forbid, didn't have our gates up at exactly the time that the mall was supposed to open, the mall staff would be so rude to us. But no one ever cared about J. Jill. Why is no one ever yelling at J. Jill? I'm watching them all the time. No one is ever over there yelling at J. Jill like they're yelling at us. Or like at the end of the night when we'd be like, only half an hour left. We'd look over at J. Jill. They're gone. Their lights are off. Their doors are locked. Where is J. Jill? Where are all the people? Why do they just get to leave? Like, we are contractually obligated
with this mall to stay open during business hours. So like, why do you get to just go home? Oh, it made us so mad. So it was just the running joke between everyone that worked there. Okay, ready? So that's like the backstory. So then the holiday rolls around and holiday mall hours hit, which means that our store has to stay open. Like we have to open an hour earlier and close an hour later than we're used to doing. And as soon as we get the notification that like they're starting next week and like our store has to abide by these rules because we're part of the mall, blah, blah, we look at it and we go, okay, like, but is J. Jill gonna follow the rules? Like, will J. Jill open an hour early and close an hour late? No, they didn't. Not only are they not listening to the mall holiday hours, but they're opening and closing like later than their original time was supposed to be. So we start talking shit with all the other mall employees, as you do. We were right next to the food court, so we were a prime location to play Pokemon Go. We were talking shit and we were like, why does J. Jill not get to follow the mall rules? And then the guy from Olympia would be like, wait, what the fuck? Because I did this one day and I got yelled at and they like threatened to fine me. And we're like, this is an injustice. This is absolutely ridiculous. And meanwhile, these bitches are still giving us the grumpy face from across the way like this. Don't fucking look at me like that. You're not gonna follow the rules. So after like a couple days of this, one of the part-time employees at my store says, I'm taking matters into my own hands. I've had enough. And we're like, what are you gonna do? And she's like, I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna pretend to be the mall and I'm gonna tell them they're gonna get fined if they don't start fucking opening on time. And that is exactly what that bitch did. She opened a Word document. She put the letterhead of the mall that we worked for. She put like a fake report number and the date, and she like low-key threatened them a little bit. It has been brought to our attention that on December 17th, 2019, location J. Jill closed at 8:42 p.m. The mall hours during holiday season are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. on weekdays and Saturday, and 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sundays. Please make sure that you comply with the hours for the current period. It is our goal to ensure every customer has a great experience, and that requires all stores to remain open. Take up any disputes with the mall office located on the second floor. Have a happy holiday season. And then she made the world's funkiest fake signature. So that night she took her little printout, she slid it under the door of J. Jill, and guess what? That shit worked. After that, J. Jill opened on time every single day, and they did not leave early ever again, which is like amazing. I just think it's the funniest thing in the world. And I have a hypothesis. I think that J. Jill probably thought that we tattled on them, but I don't think J. Jill ever would have thought that a part-time employee at the jewelry store across the way is the one who wrote the note. Anyways, that J. Jill does not exist anymore. And honestly, good, because they were bringing down the vibe. Good riddance to that J. Jill, I say. Goodbye.
All right, it happened. Claire's story time. Yesterday I did a piercing on a woman and her daughter. The woman wanted a cartilage piercing and she wanted her daughter's seconds pierced. Her daughter was around 4 years old, and piercing a second isn't a big deal because it's still on the lobe. But I've never pierced a second on a 4-year-old, so that was a little odd. I was kind of like, okay, like, you're eccentric, whatever. I said that her daughter should go with the diamonds. This isn't like a price gouge thing. This is because the diamonds are really small. They're the same size as our smallest crystal, and they protrude out more. So for learning how to clean on their own, also just for cleaning in general and twisting it back and forth, I always recommend diamonds, mostly for younger kids. For adults, it's kind of like oh, I'm going to splurge on myself. For kids, it's a lot easier for them to learn to clean it, and it's just better, and they have those diamonds as they're growing up, and it's sweet. And they're lab grown, so I don't feel bad about it. So her daughter gets the diamonds, and she's like, I kind of want the diamonds too. So I'm like, okay, you guys could match, but I only have one set of diamonds right now. So if you want to get them, I would say use them on your daughter. And she's like, okay, no problem. Like, whatever you think would be best for me. So I'm like, okay, sure. So she ends up going with like a 2mm cubic zirconia, which is like the fool's gold of diamonds. And I get her piercing done first. And then I pierce her daughter's ears. She loves it. She says they're both beautiful. I tell her the price of these earrings, okay? I let her know. I'm like, yep, the diamonds are $130. And she's like, oh, okay, all right, just like flat with solution. And I was like, yeah, and I'm going to knock $10 off by giving you the standard solution. Because when you buy the spray bottle, it's also the rapid solution. So you can just use the spray bottle in place of it. And I have to give you a solution, so I'm going to knock that $10 off. So her daughter's earrings came out to $120. Her earrings came out to like $75, I think, for both of them. And then there's like a $5 cartilage fee. So that's what she paid. And then afterwards, I'm like, if you guys need anything else, we have a buy 3 get 2 free. So go ahead and grab whatever else you need, because you also get a 20% off discount on top of whatever else you get. And she's like, okay, what's the total right now? And I tell her total is like 230 something. And she's like, ooh, okay. And she's like looking at her daughter and she's making jokes. And she's like, I wanted us to go get piercings. And it's like half of my paycheck, like blah, 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 blah. And she's like talking to her daughter. They're laughing. I damaged out a toy that her daughter opened in the store and lost. And she's like doing the buy 3 get 2 free. And I'm like, yeah, the 2 lowest price items will be the free ones. So her daughter wants a new toy that is a replacement for the one she lost. And she's like, Mom, please. And she's like, no, that's cheap. I don't want to mix up. Like, I don't want to add that because that's going to be the free thing. But finally she gives in and her daughter gets the new toy after I had already damaged out the one that her daughter lost. So that was like a nice of me thing. And I was like trying to like be the hero, be like, yep, like no big deal. You guys don't have it. I feel bad. I'd rather pay out of my own pocket for it because they were already getting the whole piercing and everything. And then after that, she ends up getting like a knockoff Stanley, a few other things, some pricey things. And she does the buy 3 get 2 free. She's like, how much is the total? I think it was around like 270, 280. So I let her know, and I'm like, your total's around 280 or like whatever it was. And she's like, all right, sounds good. She puts her card down, and this whole time, by the way, she's like, oh, I'd get another piercing if I had the money. Like, I can't wait to come back and get another piercing. Like, I want to get the diamonds. Can you let me know when you have the diamonds in? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I will totally let you know when we have diamonds in. You can also always call and check and get those diamonds when you want that next piercing, right? So not only did she know how much everything was, know what she was doing, ask for diamonds, but she was willing to come back and call to see if we had them in stock so that she could get a piercing with the diamond earrings. Fully wanted to do this, okay? Today, I get a text from my coworker, and she's like, hey, was the lady who got the 2 piercings yesterday weird at all? I was like, oh God. So I was like, no, what happened? And she said that the woman is calling the store, freaking out, saying that I charged her $400 and pocketed the rest of it. She has her receipt, by the way, and she paid with card. She's saying I charged her $400 and pocketed the rest of it. And that I lied to her and told her that both her and her daughter's earrings were going to be $130. By the way, on the form that you fill out, it lets you go over the entire form. It says, review this form. Does this look right? And you see the price of the earrings along with what earrings you're paying for. You sign everything. And I was telling my coworker, I'm like, hey, no way. Because not only did she pay for the piercing, ask me after I had put in just the piercings, how much is this so far? But then she went and got 5 more things. So I know absolutely, the absolute truth is that didn't happen. That was not the way it went. And it's bothering me because she was so nice. And when she first came in, I did get the vibe that she was a little like high energy. But I was like, you know what? She's got her like yoga mom fit on. Like she's just living her best life. No. Because what are you doing? Because Claire's, I'm sorry, after you signed all that paperwork and it is literally in our system how much you paid with card, you are not convincing anyone that I charged you $400 and pocketed like $170 of it. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And I did a great job on her piercing. Her ears were uneven just like everyone's. I made sure that she loved it. I went through all the steps. I was super sanitary. I know I did a great job. And she just wants her money back because she doesn't want to pay for the piercing. My personal opinion is that it was a very spur of the moment. I need to do this right now. Like, it doesn't matter how much it is. And then after she got home, she was like, oh, I shouldn't have spent that much money on a piercing. But what's not cool is like trying to ruin someone's job over a mistake that you personally made. Because my coworkers know I wouldn't do that. I know I wouldn't do that. And the receipts show that I didn't do that. Don't play with me. What are you doing? Anyway, I have 3 days off in a row right now, so if she tries to come in and cause a scene, she's gonna meet my absolute mama bear coworker who is will go to war for me. So that's by far my worst story time yet.